Good morning, I'm Janine.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to the Blue Fiber Tree.
Absolutely.
Today, we're going to talk a bit about your box stores versus your mom and pop yarn shops.
Yep.
Before we get into that, Janine's going to go through the calendar for Longtail Knits.
Yes, absolutely. So, starting with September 15th, we have a basic macrame workshop from 4 to 8.
Okay.
So you're going to hear a lot of Chris stuff.
Yeah, I'm a busy girl.
On the 17th, we have the Western Reserve Lace Society group. They gather at 10 o'clock and we go until 1. And on that same day, we have a Dye Day, a speckled technique from 11 to
Sweet,
3.
my frenemy.
Oh, and then we have another thing on the same day. Macrame keychains and lanyards starting at 1:30.
Oh, I like that. And then I can watch everybody do speckled dye and go, ha ha ha, better you than me.
1:30 to 4:30 because we're in the midst of the yarn tour. Started September 6th, goes through the 25th, and on Saturday we're here until 5 o'clock. So that gives us that extra hour. That's why we were able to plan that extra macrame workshop on Saturday.
So everybody's overlapping.
I am. Guess what? On Sunday the 18th, yarn tour here from 11 to 5. Chris is going to be doing the Macrame Advanced Owl project from 11 to 3.
Finally!
Yes.
Sorry,
finally.
we've been waiting on this one because I was sick for the last one.
Right. And that last one, as a result of a beginner's workshop, we have another one on Monday the 19th at 3:30. So if you can't make the Sunday one, jump in on the Monday one. But you have to have the beginner's workshop under your belt.
So I have
in
two
order to
macrame
take it.
owls back to back?
You do. Remember the 3, Rhonda and the other 2 ladies that did it? You guys decided to do a workshop for them on that Monday.
I should check my calendar for that one.
She's busy the month of September.
That's okay.
On the 21st, we have needle felted pumpkins from 5 to 8. If you missed the first session in August, you have another chance to do it.
Nice.
And on the 22nd, first time for this in here, basic knots from macro weave from 12 to 2.
Yes.
So 1 second. And then on the 28th, drafting with purpose from 5 to 8. That's a Wednesday evening. Talk just a minute about the basic knots for macro
Right.
weave.
So we have, I think it's November 5th. We're going to do our first basic macro weaving class.
Yep.
And there are some prerequisites for that. You have to have had either a rigid heddle tri-loom class.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have had a basic tapestry class.
Mm-hmm.
And also the intro to macrame was the original prerequisites to be able to take the macro weaving class. We had a person that was like, wow, Chris, listen, I really want to do the macro weaving, but what I don't want to do is I don't really want to make stuff to put on my wall. Like, I don't really like macrame, but I love macro weaving, and I really don't want to take your intro class. How can I do that? And I'm like, whoa, give me a minute, let me think. So we came up with a separate class for those that are interested in doing something like the macro weaving, but they don't want to walk down the rabbit hole of macrame. Basic knots, you're not leaving with a project. It is a simple 2-hour class, and we are going to teach you just the knots you need to know to go into macro weaving. And I promise you, like, macro weaving, you can expand into other knots, but if you know just the basic few, you can make a million different projects. And
right.
So, and there may be a couple other classes that we allow that basic knots for macro weaving to substitute in for, because if it's just the knots that we're using in one of the advanced classes, I would be okay if somebody took that as opposed to the intro, so at least you have some foundation, because usually when we're in those advanced classes, there's not enough time to teach you the knots and then still keep everybody going on the project. So I think it's going to be a fun class. I think, I know Abby's really looking forward to it because then she can just do her few knots and call it a day.
Right.
So, but I think it was necessary, and I will continue to offer that basic knots class hopefully just at least once a month, like I do the intro to macrame class, just so people can still take either or.
Right, and for the weaving part of that, it's not you have to have both rigid heddle and tapestry. One or the other will work.
No,
you need both.
You have to have intro to tapestry because you have to know how to warp your loom. With that, it's a different type of warping than it is for rigid heddle. It's tri-loom or rigid heddle, so you understand wefts and how things move.
I have a question now. Aren't
Sure.
the knots that you use for macro weave more macrame knots and not so much the warping with tapestry?
We still warp with tapestry. We're still going to warp the tapestry, the large looms. They still have to know how to warp those before they come in. And they still need to understand basic tapestry techniques.
Oh, because we're using that loom for
the macro weaving class.
Gotcha. It's not just a piece of wood or a driftwood
Nope.
or something.
No. Macro weaving,
Gotcha.
we're not doing on that. We're using the large looms for.
All right, guys. When those basic tapestry workshops come up, you need to make sure that you get in on those. And let's see here. October 19th is the next one, just so you know.
And that's right before the class on the 5th of November.
Yeah, so you have plenty of time to sign up for that.
Yeah.
So
sorry about the confusion on that.
Yeah, I was confused on that.
That's okay.
Because I didn't realize we were using the weaving frame.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, especially to start with macro weaving, using
Smaller project.
Well, it's not even the smaller project. It's when you have the frame and you're warping it, for somebody that's never done any type of macro weaving, having something warped, pre-warped, it's sturdier and your cords and things aren't going to move all over the place. When you're macro weaving from a dowel rod or a piece of driftwood, things are really loosey-goosey and your project can shift.
Right.
If you're not real careful with your tension. And so for beginners macrame, it really needs to be on the loom.
Right.
And those classes, even if we change, like next year, let's say we're still doing the intro to macro weaving, I might change the pattern that we're doing so we have a new design, but I probably will not change everybody needs to start out on this, and then we'll probably do a beginners on driftwood.
Oh, that'll be
Or
fun.
a beginners on dowel rod macro weaving class, so you can learn how to do that before we ever get into anything that's complicated.
She's talking about a multi-week session too, so yeah.
There's some multi-week sessions
We're gonna have fun.
coming up next year. There'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Okay. Local yarn shop versus the big box store. When I started to do the business plan for my store 6.5 years ago, it's almost 7 years now.
That's crazy.
Part of that was the big box stores, competing with them. And the biggest part is the personalization.
Yes.
And having someone to help you.
Yep.
In the yarn department.
That actually really knows knitting, that really knows crochet, that understands what each weight of yarn is really for. Because not that they don't have people that'll come help you, but they may not.
They don't have
really.
the
They'll be
knowledge.
like, well, I can tell you where the yarn you need for a size 3. I can tell you where you.
They may not even know that.
But
yeah.
I'm just saying that might stretch it. But
yeah. So you get that personal service with the shop owner, who, for the most part, we know what's in our store. Yeah. May not know where it's at because I move it frequently, but it's in my store somewhere and I will find it. Yeah, I will find it. But the thing is, you're also talking about quality of the product. You're talking about knowledge of the product. You're talking about someone who can help you with a pattern. You're not going to get that at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Joann's, Michael's, or any of those other places. No. You're going to get it at a local yarn shop. Okay? Right. That's where you're going to get it. So today what we're going to do, we're going to compare yarns 1-to-1.
Right.
This one went and got some stuff from our big box store, and we are going to compare apples to apples.
Right. And one of the things before we go into that, you know, there's a misnomer out there about big box stores and mom and pop yarn shops. When I first really found you and was saying, oh my God, I found this great yarn shop. It's in Macedonia. Everybody's like, why would you get your yarn from there? It's so expensive. I'm like, it can be as cheap or as expensive as I want it to be, because the price range in your yarn stores goes from here to here. It just depends on what lines they're carrying. But I think that's a huge misnomer, that people think they can't afford the mom and pop yarn shops. And that's part of what prompted me to go, Janine, I really think we need to do this. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh yeah, I don't go there. I've had a couple of clients say, no, I don't go there. I go down to that place and get my yarn, just because, I don't want to spend a lot of money on the yarn. And then I take the time to explain to my clients, well, if you're going down there and you're buying acrylic and you're buying baby yards, because that's most of what they're using. Yeah. I was like, you're doing yourself a disservice, because the price is comparable and the quality is better. So I think for those of you that maybe watch us but haven't been into long tail knits, like, you need to consider that, because we have, I don't know, just in this area, 17, 18, 20 mom and pop local shops.
There's more than 20.
Right. And then the other difference is, like, big box stores, they have huge overhead, they have employees, they're trying to pay employee benefits, they have all this crazy stuff going on there, and it's not a person who owns a shop who's raising a family, paying their bills, and as an owner of another shop, because I have my salon, like that salon is like, that was my income for so long.
Yep.
And people could have chosen to go to some of the bigger commercials places to get their hair done, but by coming to me, hey, they help me pay medical bills, they help me put my kids through school, they help pay my mortgage. It's a little different family community feeling when you know that you're helping somebody have a better life. And it doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to make that person rich. No, you're helping that person survive. And people
survival.
It is. And people need to kind of reassess the big box store to mom and pop. And yes, there's things that you can find in a big box store that you can't find here. She doesn't have a dress form mannequin here for people that want to do different types of crafts. Yes, you can get different types of craft stuff there. I don't know any yarn shop that does carry stuff like that. But in those cases, there are mom and pop fabric shops.
Yep.
So kind of put that into perspective when you're thinking about where you're going to get your yarn from next time. And we'll start with you, because you're holding on to that.
I'm just holding these. And what she said is very true. Supporting those local small businesses, first of all, it's a community thing. One of my main things was opening the store was I was going to give back to the community, and I have over and over and over again.
Every single month.
But also giving back to the community means helping everybody in my community. When someone comes in with a question, I help them best I can. And if I can't find the answer, I'll find someone who can, because it's important to me. They reached out to me for a reason. And that reason is because they're looking for someone to help them, and they haven't found that person yet. And I will do my best. I will say, I can't, but this person can. Because there's a lot of things that I've learned over the years of, I know for sure I can't do this, but I have the name of someone who can.
Yep.
And I'm going to pass you on to that person because I know them, their integrity, and they're going to help you. That's the biggest thing. I wanted to help people and provide a safe space, to provide a place where you can get good quality yarns that aren't going to break the bank. Believe me, I go by the demographic. It's a word. It just means I pay attention to the people that walk into my store.
Right.
And I have everything from a $2 ball of yarn to that $35 ball of yarn. As she said, it's what you're looking for, what you're willing to pay, who it's for. And I've noticed a lot of knitters and crocheters will spend more on yarn if it's a project for themselves as opposed to somebody who's just going to take that booger and throw it in the washer and dryer.
Somebody who's not really yarn worthy. Those yarn worthy people out there.
Yeah, we do have some of those. They're not knit worthy or crochet worthy. But you know, and it's the first question I ask. I need yarn for a baby blanket. Is the mom going to toss it in the washer and dryer? Yep. Well, you need to come over here.
Right.
We want
you need to know those things.
Yeah, we want you to make something that is going to last, and they're not going to be disappointed. If you make something out of wool and they're going to just toss it in the washer and the dryer, you're going to have a rug instead of a blanket. Right. So, yes.
One of the other things, real quick, before I forget, one of the other things that makes the individual mom and pop yarn shops so great is each shop has built their own little community. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have a table where other knitters, crocheters, weavers, spinners come together and join together and commune.
And they share. Oh,
I love
boy,
it.
do they share.
I love it. I get a little choked up when I talk about it because...
And each group has a different personality.
Yeah.
I have 6 different scheduled open groups in my store throughout the week. And
those open groups probably saved my life.
And every single one of them have different characters and personalities. And if you are the kind of person that needs a quieter time, don't come Monday morning. It's loud on Monday morning, but it's Monday and they're happy to see each other from the week before. And it's like last Monday was show and tell. Oh my goodness, the things that were around this table. It was fun. It was hilarious. It was great. We have a good time. So find the group that works for you.
Yep.
Find the yarn store that fits you and you're comfortable there. If you're not comfortable there, get out. Go find some place where you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So the very first basic yarn that most people gravitate to is a 100% acrylic worsted weight yarn.
Yep.
This is 100% acrylic worsted weight yarn. This is 100% acrylic worsted weight yarn. This is from my store. This is from the big box store. They're identical. They're the same thing. The yardage on this one's 180. The yardage on this one is 185. Guys, they're the same thing. What would you say, a penny difference in price?
They are 1 penny. And yes, hers is the 1 penny more. But let me tell you, like, if you go this to this, if you touch, there's a roughness to this that you can feel. You touch this, it is smooth as silk. And they're both acrylic.
And you can wash and dry both of them, and they're both anti-pilling. I have a sample in this store. I bet they don't have a sample in the store. You can feel the softness. It is a fabulous yarn. And guess what? There's over 70 different colors in this.
I love that line.
And it's all right there.
It's got worsted, and you have the DK in that, don't you?
And the super bulky.
You have the super bulky?
I do.
I'm a little behind. So, I mean, that alone, I mean, it's a penny. And if you're local, you're driving way further to get to the big box store, and gas is not cheap. So you're actually spending more on that penny less yarn to go get it at the big box store than you are at your local yarn store.
Yep, and you have someone here that's going to ask you the questions and go, hey, if you can't figure out the color combination, lay it out on the table and figure it out. You can't do that at the big box store.
No, and the other thing she's going to do is she's going to help you look at your pattern.
Yeah.
And help you figure out how many skeins of it you
really need.
So that you're not standing there going, well, 5 sounds good. And she's going to be like, you might need 6, you know, or you might only need 4. Like, you might not be looking at the size thing correctly. And Janine is really amazing with patterns. She's...
Yeah, and I will tell you, get that extra skein. If you don't use it, bring it back. I don't care. Yeah. Exchange it for something else. You're going to really be sad if you needed 10 yards more and you didn't pick up the extra skein. It's not going to break the bank.
No.
Really? No. Seriously. Okay, what's next?
Now, the next, like, favorite yarns that I see everybody getting are baby yarns. Okay? Well, she has baby yarns out the wazoo.
Lots of baby yarns.
Lots of baby yarns. This is from the big box store. This is from our local yarn store.
Flip it over. You got the label upside down.
No.
There you go.
Ha! There we go. Ha! Got it. Okay. We are $1 difference in price.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, $1 more. However, more yardage. Less yardage. Scratchy. Soft. It's really, so if I go over here.
And this one's 100% acrylic, and this is an acrylic nylon blend.
Yes, and this will give you strength and durability. Not that there's not going to be strength, but when you have that little bit of nylon in there, it's going to last longer. So if you're making a blanket out of this,
or sweaters,
they're going to last. That sweater that you make for this baby can be passed down to the next baby and the next baby, because it's going to have that strength and durability, where this one might have more wear and tear.
And you can wash and dry them.
You can wash and dry them. Amazing on that. The other thing that I will say, this is just your regular variegated. This has, because it's specifically Blossom DK, has little flowers that pop up when you knit with it. Yeah. And it is the coolest thing. So when I get more yardage and it's $1, well, I'm paying $1 for the extra yardage. I'd rather have the softer yarn. I'd rather have the one that has strength and durability. And Blossom DK is not the only baby yarn in this building. There is a whole entire rack of it. I mean, bins on both sides.
And then some.
Yes, at the big box store.
There's a small section.
It's a very small section, and I think there were 2 lines. There was a decent amount of colorways in this one, but the other line, like, you had like 4 options. There's like at least 5 lines of baby stuff over there. I say at least because I haven't counted, but there's a lot, and there's many colorways in each line. So you have more options. And this is soft and squishy, and I want this next to a baby's skin. This is prickly. So, all right, what's up next after the babies?
Well, you want to do the other baby yarn?
I forgot about this baby yarn. I like this baby yarn. And you're going to be really surprised here. All right. Big box store. Okay. Same yarn, pretty much. A little different blend. Long tail knits version. They are very, very close, price comparable. Okay. Yardage wise, we are almost identical. This is straight acrylic.
Yeah.
This is the acrylic nylon again.
Yeah.
This is a coarser, the one from the box store. It has a coarser feel. This is soft, squishy, wonderful. And where did you say they were from? Turkey?
Yep.
Oh my God, I can't find things on labels. My eyeballs don't want to read.
They're both made in Turkey.
So they're both made in Turkey. And yes, they're different blends, but you can't get any closer in color. Like the darker teal there and the darker teal there. Yeah, I can't really say this, but I will be darn surprised if they didn't come from the exact same manufacturer, just 2 different blends of yarns, dyed in their same commercial way that they do, because this is box store. It's still commercial yarn, but it's specialty commercial yarn for the stores.
Yep.
So you have your same exact colorway. Couple of bucks. Everything's comparable, except this is strength and durability and softer. All right?
Softness counts.
Softness counts, especially when it's going to be next to a baby.
Again, there's a sample of a blanket that is actually the pattern on the label inside. Yes. It only takes 1 ball. And it's soft. It's super soft. You wouldn't believe how soft these things are.
I know.
We're going to switch to cotton. So these are worsted weight cottons.
Yep.
Both Pima cottons.
Yep.
Buzzword in the cotton world, I guess.
It is.
Are you ready for this? This is a 3-ounce ball with 157 yards.
Yep.
Standard 100 gram, which is 3.5 ounces, 219 yards. And these were very close in price. I think they're identical if you do the yardage the right way. Super soft again. This one, this has a tighter ply.
It does.
Than this one.
Right. So I've actually used this one before you, okay? Back when it was packaged a little differently. I used this to make booties.
Okay.
And this ply, it is loose and it comes apart while you're trying to work with it.
Were you crocheting?
Sure, yeah.
So I want to make a comment right now. Yarns in the facilities where they manufacture yarns that are like this that we purchase. They are twisted, either Z or S, whichever one this is, for knitters specific, so that they don't come unplied. Crocheters, on the other hand, go the opposite direction, and they tend to unply.
But I have used Pima cotton.
And it didn't do that to you?
So, remember my hat that I made for on the Maryland bus trip?
Yeah, the bucket hat you did.
My bucket hat was Pima cotton. I didn't have one single,
Okay.
I did not catch one single thing. It's a tighter ply.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't open itself up as much as this one does when you're crocheting in that,
right.
you know. But yeah, I mean, again, very comparable.
Yeah, so again, this one's made in Turkey, but this one's made in Peru. It's a different yarn company. All right, next. What do you want to do?
Okay, we're going to go to this guy.
Okay.
So, we have, oh Lord.
It's a super bulky,
Yeah,
size 6.
It's a super bulky, size 6. This is acrylic and like
No.
10%. It is. Acrylic and wool and rayon. Okay. This one is 100% wool.
Yep.
We picked it because it has the same look, minus the little nubs.
They're the same weight of
Same
yarn.
weight of yarn. This is super scratchy. Okay, super scratchy. This is 106 yards. All right. This is 109 yards. Scratchy.
And it has less wool in it, so you don't understand why.
I don't understand
why.
if it, this being 100%
really
wool, super soft. Like
It's
I was
my own.
really
I should
surprised.
know it's that soft, but
Right,
yeah.
and this is one of the Barocca ones. But this is, what does it say? A special blend of South American wools. Well, they did really good because it's so soft. And price comparison, they're very close in price. But again, I'd rather have the softer. And if you look at them, this one has a sheen to it. It almost gives that sheen that my acid does. The one that has the tencel, but this is straight wool, but it just has a really nice quality of softness that you can see just by looking at it. And there is another one that you have here in the store that has the tweed.
It's called tweed, yeah.
Yeah, she has tons of tweed, just not super bulky, I don't think.
It's a chunky, not
It's
a bulky.
a chunky, not a bulky. So that's why we didn't grab that one. But they're so close.
Staying on the wool bandwagon here.
Yeah.
This here is another chunky wool. So these were super bulky. This is a size 6. This is chunky, size 5. This is 100% wool. Okay, this is their natural. Let me double check, make sure. 100% wool. Pretty sure it's on there. So there it is, right there. This is 100% wool. But did you notice that this is just
a single?
It's a single. They actually call it roving. But it is a size 5. You can knit or crochet with it.
I didn't like
this is 2-plied, hand washed. No matter what you do, 100% wool. You need to hand wash it.
Don't put those socks in the dryer, man.
Or your hat or your scarf. You're gonna end up with something that a Barbie doll would be using. Yeah, I've had people use this for their hooking when they're doing hooked rugs.
Yeah.
Like the hooking with yarn that we do. They'll use this. They love this. They also love this for their hooking with yarn. Just saying. But anyway, yeah, so there you go. And this one is 115 yards. This one's 120. Not much difference either in price.
No, not at all.
This is nicer.
Right. I mean, that alone, just the yarns that we've covered so far, you're within pennies. And well, yes, there are yarns that have bigger price tags, but
they have better. It's the fiber content.
It's the fiber content. It's the colorways, because sometimes in your less expensive yarns, you don't get like really amazing colorways. This being an exception when you're looking at something like this. This is just fun.
Yeah.
But you don't get a lot of crazy colorways. there are so many. I literally could just run across the salon. Sorry, wrong store. I could run around the shop and I could just grab stuff off the wall and toss it to Janine, and she could show you all the different options for colorways.
Okay,
you know?
so Mr. Bob is bringing you, this is one of the lines that I love. It's spotted. It's called Baby Spots.
Yep.
Okay, it's the Hayfield bonus. This is how it knits up. And I'm going to do that because the one sleeve isn't done. But yeah, so
You're so funny.
Well, I didn't want to do another ball of yarn. It was a sample for the store.
That's so
But there
pretty,
you go. Great for a different look for baby instead of stripes or the flowers or just that long gradient.
That is super pretty.
You can do this and it comes
That's
in
really warm.
6 or 8 different colors. It's 100% acrylic. Guess what? You can wash and dry it.
Nice.
So anyway, so that's the DK. We have one more. You
Yes,
grab
we
that
do.
one. I'll grab this one.
Dun, dun, dun.
These are fun. We use this for a lot of stuff. So this is it's a 5. This is a chunky yarn. 100% acrylic. Is that one 100% acrylic?
Oh, yes, it is. 100%
Okay.
acrylic.
So this is a 7-ounce ball, and this
This is
one's
an 11.
11-ounce ball. So that's the reason why that one's a little bit larger than this.
The feeling is there's no
comparison.
comparison. But one of the things that I noticed immediately, like when I picked this one up at the box store, this ply that's on this is so loose. Like all I have to do is pick it up and move it, and I start seeing holes in between my 2 ply.
Yeah, this one it doesn't.
No. And I've used Major for a ton of stuff. Someday I'll finish my husband's sweater
Everybody
that I'm
uses
making out of this. It's so soft.
And it's the way the colors are too, because
Right.
this is not a solid. This is more solid than any of the other ones, but these are variegated and they're a fun knit.
Right, and so there were a decent amount of colorways in this.
Mhm.
Not many, like 10,
Okay.
I think. And they were half solids and half spotty stuff.
Right.
It kind of looked tweedish.
There's like 35 or 36 different colorways.
I know,
in
and they're always coming out with new colorways.
No, they're not. It's been a while.
So when you're, we do this this is not a, hey, we're drumming up business for long tail knits. Okay, this was not a specific shot in the pocket of Janine. This is let everybody know that, those misnomers that are out there about big box stores versus mom and pop stores,
Right.
there's a whole different feeling to the businesses separately. And not that I'm not saying big box stores are the devil. Don't think that. But when you literally go to a mom and pop store, you are investing in someone's life. You are building a community. Our next video, we talk about charity. That's coming up in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know a big box store in the world besides just writing their $10 million check to cancer research that helps local community the way that I have watched you help local community. Every single month, without fail, there are yarns that are being sold off of her charity rack, which were yarns that were donated to the store. She discounts the retail price, cuts it in half, puts them on the charity rack. Every single solitary penny of that goes to our local emergency assistance center.
Yep.
That is helping people eat, people have clothes. It's helping them with resources in the community that they need.
Mm-hmm.
They are an amazing organization, and without small mom and pop businesses like Longtail Knits, they don't have the funds to do the things that they do.
Right.
And they do like a holiday store at Christmas time where they take donations of food so people get to have Christmas dinner. They take toy donations, and the money that Janine sends over to them helps them pay for some of those things that don't get donated.
So she's getting started on next in the 2-week one, but
I just wanted to point that out because your local mom and pop shops, when they donate,
it's to the community. It's where we live.
It's where we live.
It's where we live, and I know the other yarn shops are doing the same thing in whatever manner that they can help in their area.
Yep.
It's just something that I do. But like I said, local yarn shops, small businesses in your community, they're the ones that keep that community going.
We're the backbone of the community.
We are, and if you can shop them, it really does help. And you know, there are months, we know you're pinching pennies, it's okay. But so many times I hear, it was Sunday, you weren't open, I had to go I couldn't wait until Monday. And they're like, I regret it. You know, it's just that thing. I hear it.
I have one bin left. One bin of commercial yarns that I bought from big box stores before I met you.
Yep.
And that lid has not been opened. I probably haven't opened that lid in 3.5 years.
Yep. Time to donate it.
It just, you don't got room for it. That's why it's still sitting in the bin.
If you wait until I have room for it, it'll never come into the store. It's a true statement.
That is, because people keep bringing their donations.
Because as soon as I clear a shelf, somebody walks in with 2 or 3 bags of yarn.
You can't win. That back room's never going to be empty.
That's all right.
But we really hope that we've opened your eyes a little bit and shown you big box versus mom and pop yarn stores.
I will tell you, in the beginning, it took a while to convince some of those women to give it a try.
Yeah.
You know, and once they started knitting or crocheting with the yarns, I noticed they didn't go back to the big box store.
It's better quality. It's better quality, but even on the other side of that, it's better service. Definite better atmosphere. Bob's behind the camera going, better atmosphere. So, no, better atmosphere. You're building and strengthening your community. You have opportunities for camaraderie and social experiences that you're not going to get at the big box store.
It's the friendships that you make when you're here too. I mean, these women and the guys that walk into the store, they have developed such strong relationships. And if somebody has a problem, you're going to bet somebody around the table
trying to figure it out.
Or they've had a similar situation. Yeah. And go, we have resources for you here. Reach out to this. It is fabulous to see them sharing in that way.
And I will say one of the other things that I didn't mention, I think there's 1 or 2 big box stores that do classes. Yeah. They do classes. They don't do the classes that we do.
No.
They don't do the classes that the other yarn shops around here do. Mm-mm. I promise you, price comparison, we're definitely on par with what they charge at the big box stores. And I know I shouldn't even say it because I am an instructor here, but you're going to get way better education.
You're going to have that support too, because once that class at the big box store is over, there's nobody you can go to and say, hey, I need help with this.
No, they'll be like, our next class on that is in December, and you can take it again if you're having trouble. No. We don't do that. If you're having trouble,
come to me. I'll help you.
Figure it out. I have a lady that did a macrame class with me yesterday, and I was helping her look on her phone to get patterns that she wanted to eventually try when she had a little more, secure knowledge and felt comfortable, confidence. We were looking at patterns, so I was like, oh, here, take my number, text me that picture. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. Well, last night while I'm watching the football game, she sends me this text. And she was like, I can't remember the exact wording, but she was like, well, I cut more yarn, and I think I cut it too short, and I went around the thing, and I don't like it, and I just feel icky, and I'm done until I see you on Monday. And I was like, don't worry, we'll take it out, we'll get you back on track. But I say this because Monday, I don't have a class I'm teaching. Yeah. I'm here babysitting the store so Janine can go do a meeting. But I told this lady, no, I'm going to be there. Come, I'll help you. If I already sat down with you with the class, and I'm going to be at the shop, and even if I'm not going to be in the shop and you text me and go, hey, when are you going to the shop this week? I'm going to make time to come back and help you get over that hurdle, get over that sticky area that's driving you crazy. Because once you're my student forever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't let you go. Sorry, you're stuck with me.
Right.
And you're not going to get that at the big box store. They don't care in the same way that we care.
Right, right.
We want to see your success.
You need to succeed, and that was the other thing when I started. It was we needed to make sure that everyone was happy with, first of all, the products and the service that they got. And
Absolutely.
I'm 100% service. And if you come to me and go, I tried, someone was helping me, they moved away, they're not doing this class again, whatever the reason, I don't care. I'll help you.
Yeah.
And we'll sit down and we'll look at it first, determine how much time it's going to take for me to help you. And if I look at that line and I go, well, they mean this, and it took me 2 minutes to help you, I am not charging you a dime, because it was 2 minutes of my time.
It's 2 minutes. Different than teaching you a technique or a whole pattern.
It's like you didn't. I get it, because all designers write things differently. Everybody's different.
And God help you if you're looking at some of the European designers. We were looking at macrame patterns yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're reading, and I'm like, what in God's creation is blah, blah, blah? I'm looking at Pam, I'm like, I don't know, let's click the link to her video and see. And we're listening to the video, and I went, she's Ukrainian, the lady that designed the pattern. Well, they speak English differently than we speak English, because their English is different. So their words are a little swapped sometimes, and you have to move the words around to get the sentence in the way that they meant it, but they also write it like they think it. So it's like, oh, okay, hold please, we got to go a little slower here so we can understand this.
But if you look at the video, I think that's how you figured it out, was you looked at the video to figure it out.
We did finally, we're like, oh, she's talking about braided cords, because we're like, cotton-filled cords, they're all cotton cording for macrame. Like, I don't know what she means. Well, we always use the term braided. It's either braided, it's 3-ply, it's single-ply. No, so yeah, it's all different. But little things like that, like me helping the lady look at this pattern, or her helping you look at a quick pattern, we're not charging you for that. We want to help you succeed. Like that, literally, I can't say that enough.
Because we know if we're friendly and we help you, you're going to come back. You're going to tell your friends. I mean, I have so many people like, I need more of your cards. Do you have schedules? I'm going to a knitting group. I need to make sure that these people know about you.
Absolutely.
It's great. It's word of mouth. That's what keeps those small businesses in business.
Absolutely.
And this is the whole point of this, was small business, big box store comparison.
On that note,
yeah.
Listen, folks, you have till the end of September to get your tail end over to Facebook, to our blue fiber tree. Go look for the thing that posts the picture of our little raffle basket. It's a really nice basket. There are 5 skeins of yarn. There's a set of knitting needles. There's stitch markers, and a beautiful reusable box. Little flowers. It's so pretty. I know. I feel like Vanna White. But you literally, the time is running out. September 11th, this airs. September 30th, I'm cutting you off and you can't enter anymore. If you comment under it, you get an entry. But if you comment under it and also post a picture of your work in progress, I'm going to give you 2 entries. There was a guy that posted, he's working on the greatest sweater in the world. I was like, I like that there's a guy knitting and his knitting looks better than mine. Everybody's knitting looks better than mine sometimes, but that's okay. So it's been really neat, like seeing the entries come in and everything they're using. On the other side, there's a couple people that are using my yarns. So that felt kind of neat, going, oh, I like what that looks like. Yep. I didn't know that would knit up like that. So get on to subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Yep. In our last video, we talked about subscribing doesn't mean you have to get notifications. It doesn't mean like you are tethered to YouTube for the rest of your life.
No.
It means you can just follow the
blue fiber tree,
the few people that you want, or just the blue fiber tree. Okay? So once you have subscribed, Blue Fiber Tree's Facebook page, go comment, post a picture if you want a second entry. October 1st, I'm drawing for that basket. But hopefully by the time this airs, because yes, again, we do film early, there better be 100 subscribers. We are
one person away.
One. Somebody phone a friend. and go, listen, I know you don't really want to watch them. Go subscribe and make them happy. I'm fine with that. I don't care if he's a carpenter and he's never going to touch yarn. Make your husband subscribe. I'm about to make my husband subscribe and cheat, but that would be cheating, so I'm not going to do it.
No.
He wouldn't do it anyway, actually.
Mine subscribed, but he watches our videos.
He does watch our videos. Mine would not watch the videos. I can barely get him to watch my Facebook videos.
Okay, so in reality, the look that I'm getting right now from behind the camera, he watches twice because he watches the live version being taped, and then he goes back and he watches it again after it's posted.
Yes. You guys watch it on the mornings it gets posted, don't you?
We try to, yeah.
I have to watch it prior to uploading it to YouTube so that I know all the little comments that I have to put in the comment section page, because by the time I go to post it, yeah, I know what the video was about, but I don't remember a word we said because so much has happened. So I'm like sitting there, I'm listening, I'm taking notes. My husband goes, what are you doing? Why are you watching your own video? I go, I need to know, like, what if I miss something? So definitely subscribe, share, visit us on the Blue Fiber Tree.
Yes.
Be active, have fun. Go visit your local yarn shops, please.
Yes, please do. We have many, and like I said, we're in the middle of the Yarn Discovery Tour.
So much
YarnDiscoveryTour.com. Go check out the 16 yarn shops that are participating if you haven't already gone and done so.
Yeah.
Go visit that store, get your passport, and shop us, see what we're about.
Our last video, we did talk about the yarn tour.
Yep.
On that, in the comments of that video, it gives you a link to their website, and you'll see all the shops that are participating, and all the pictures of all the patterns that each store is offering during the yarn tour. And I think all you have to do to get the patterns is to spend $10.
Yep.
There you go. You can pick a pattern if you spend $10 in the shop. So that's awesome.
That's perfect.
All right.
All right, we gotta go. We're running a little over here today, but it's exciting to talk about it.
And it's nice. And real sorry, folks. Go Panthers. Thank you. I love you, Baker Mayfield.
Bye.